It may have not seemed like it, but it was actually a special little part of the show, part of the. You know about it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So this. Okay, I have another story. I know I have a lot of stories, but
We love stories.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you. And if anyone's, tired, you can take a nap again. But actually, this is actually pretty important. It's pretty important what I'm going to say, actually, because you might have seen out there, there's a table. Well, there's a merchandise table with stuff, with my face on it. But that I'm talking about another table. And this was a table with actually different faces of little kids, and it's a Holt International table. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about that. And actually, this next song it's tied to those kids. And if you haven't seen it, I would really love for you guys to go and take a look. Each one of these kids, they're from all over the world, and they have a story. And a lot of these kids a lot of them have been abandoned by their parents, the family, or maybe they were put up in an orphanage because their family didn't have the means to take care of them. Now, kids always really touch a special place in my heart. Talk about that light that we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Those little kids just have that light. And last August, I actually went to China for my first time, and while we were there, I went to an orphanage. And it wasn't just any orphanage, because it was an orphanage that had children who had life-threatening illnesses. And I remember this little girl, we might even have pictures of some of these kids in China on that table for you to check out. But there's this little girl named Little Snow, and she wasn't even 2 years old. And she's just so cute. If you go see her, you might see the picture out there. And she, just a little baby who was waiting for another operation, another surgery, because she had a congenital heart disease. And I was just so amazed. This little girl had to fight. She didn't have the family, she didn't have the parents that we usually need when we're going through a hard time. Life-threatening illnesses are hard enough as they are. When you're a little kid who's helpless, imagine that. They need their parents to rely on them. What happens when they don't have their parents anymore? Then what? A lot of these kids ended up not being able to make it because they didn't have anyone to help them get through it, give them the funds. This orphanage was amazing in China that they were taking these kids in and fighting for them, trying to give them life. We went to India as well, the Philippines, and I could go on with stories, but we don't have all night. But Holt International, the reason why we partnered with them, when I was with those kids, I was just like, what can I do? What do I do for them? I don't know why their parents abandoned them. I don't know why their parents weren't able to provide for them anymore. I don't know their story. And not to judge the parents either, because they really don't have anything to do for those kids a lot of times. And so that is the best option they're given. But then what? What can I do to help these kids? And so there's this little kid in green, just one more kid, sorry. And he was crying, he was upset about something, he had a cast on his leg, and I was just thinking, I wanted to check in on him, and I'm like, is everything okay? I didn't speak Mandarin, so I didn't know what he was trying to tell me, or what he was crying about, or he didn't know what I was saying. And I went over to him to check on him. He just wrapped his arms around me, and he just embraced me, and rested his head on my shoulder. And I just felt him just come to peace. And I've never met this little kid before, but I realized that he was needing love. He was just needing someone to hold him and to care about him and love him. And so, what does Holt International do? There's a really nice guy who's on the road with us. His name's Jonas, and he might be here. Jonas, are you here? There you are. Hey, Jonas. Say hi to Jonas, everybody. And if you guys want to see, he has some of these kids. We're not saying, okay, adopt this kid right now, but if you want to look and just read their story, see what it's about. Holt International. If you feel something, I'm always about following your heart. And you feel something in your heart and want to learn more, talk to Jonas. Jonas is right here. He'll be outside afterwards. And yeah, you're welcome to just take one and look at it. But basically what they do is they fund a kid for $1. Yeah, they find homes for kids, but in the meantime, they need shelter, they need food, they need education. And so by just basically $1 a day, these kids are able to get the funds that they need in the meantime until they find a home. And maybe some of you out there are looking for a kid that you want to give a home to. Then hey, talk to Jonas again. But if you're not, that's okay. But please just go look at these kids. And if you don't feel something, maybe you know someone who does. But that's all I have to say really. So talk to Jonas, he's a really nice guy. Look at these kids and just read about their story. At least give them positive energy, reading their story, and if you feel it in your heart, talk to Jonas. I'm doing a bad job explaining what it is, but talk to Jonas, everybody.